Before we dive into the latest Knicks news and rumors, we have some pretty sad news for the New York Knicks community today. Willis Reed, a New York Knicks legend, has passed away at the age of 80. My dad, a huge Knicks fan, he was born in 1957. Growing up, he always told me that Willis Reed was his favorite player for the New York Knicks. And I remember one of the first videos he ever showed me was the 1970s finals when he came out of the tunnel in Game 7, 6'10" from Grambling, Willis Reed. A very sad moment, a New York Knicks legend, a two-time champion, a two-time Finals MVP, and the NBA's MVP. Rest in peace to Willis Reed. I'm going to keep your family and my thoughts in prayers. Shout out to the captain. What up, everybody? I'm your host, Marshall Green, and you're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. In today's show, we're going to break down a report that came from Cleveland.com that may have hinted at the Cleveland Cavaliers being scared of the New York Knicks and not wanting to face them in round one of the Eastern Conference playoffs. We'll talk about that, and then we'll recap last night's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. An absolute masterclass by Julius Randle. But look, you have 140 points. You don't deserve to win games in the NBA. But first, I just want to say thank you to everybody that is watching this video and all 19,000 people that have joined this channel. We've really been putting out videos every day on this channel for less than a year, and we're already up to 19,000 strong. And that's a credit to you guys and all of the real ones out there. So from me, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm just a kid that grew up rooting for the Knicks, and now I get to talk about them to a huge audience that bleeds orange and blue. We're going to continue to put out videos every day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. Also, we're going to be live for every game day as well as the NBA playoffs, which is right around the corner. So sub for Knicks Dubs, and let's get into it. A report from Cleveland.com says the Cavaliers want to play the Brooklyn Nets over the New York Knicks in round one of the Eastern Conference playoffs. And I mean, of course, right? The Brooklyn Nets are not the team that they once were when they started the season, when they had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. They no longer have them, obviously. They're still a solid team with Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, but they're not the team with two of the biggest stars in the association. And also, the Knicks have had pretty good luck so far and success against the Cavs this year. The Knicks are 2-1 in their three matchups. They have another matchup to come later this week. But I just want to go to the report from, I believe his name is Chris Fedor, is how you say his name, via Cleveland.com. He said, no one inside the Cavs organization would say this publicly, and they shouldn't. But multiple people I've spoken to recently are privately hoping for a Brooklyn matchup. It's easy to understand why. Even though the Cavs, with home court advantage, would likely be capable of competing and possibly winning a 7-game series against any of the teams currently behind them in the standings, the Nets would be the Cleveland Cavaliers' easiest path out of round one. The Cavs know the Knicks are a tough matchup for them, and they've really got the better of them in this season series so far. When you just look at the roster breakdown, Jalen Brunson and everything the Knicks have, it kind of matches up with what the Cavs have. Brunson and Garland. Donovan Mitchell, yes, he's a better scorer than the Knicks have at the two guard, but they have versatile defenders that they can put on him, like a Quentin Grimes or a Josh Hart or an Emmanuel Quickley. And give me R.J. Barrett over the small forwards that the Cleveland Cavaliers have. And then you have Julius Randle going up against a young defensive stopper in Evan Mobley. Randle had over 35 points in a game this year versus the Cavs. And then Mitchell Robinson and Jared Allen, some would cancel each other out. Sure, you could say Allen is a little bit better, but the same type of player. They play the same type of game. And I believe the Knicks are deeper on the bench with Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickley and Isaiah Hartenstein and Obi Toppin. The Knicks, in my opinion, are the better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Knicks have been one of the best teams in the NBA since 2023 and January 1st came rolling around. The Knicks do play the Cavs one more time this season. They play them at the end of this month on the 31st. We'll be live on the channel for that. And I'm going to be interested to see how that game unfolds. Are the Knicks going to show their cards? Are the Cavs going to show their cards? Are they going to let each other know how they're going to game plan and play against each other with literally the NBA playoffs 2 weeks away from that matchup? And what a story it's going to be. Donovan Mitchell at the Garden, not playing for the Knicks in round one of the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to be in shambles doing these games live, but I'm going to have a hell of a time. Donovan Mitchell, you are not a Knick, and you're going to be out of the first round after you lose to the New York Knicks. I want to ask everybody watching right now, though, who wins in round one if these two teams face off? We'll show you the standings and the upcoming schedule for the Knicks. They're on a crash course landing. Knicks, Cavs, round one of the Eastern Conference. I can't wait. Let me know. Who do you got winning? Type NYK for the Knicks or CLE for the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you look at the Eastern Conference standings and where they shake up as we're filming this on March 21st, you got the Bucks at the top of the conference, 51-20. You got the Boston Celtics against the Philadelphia 76ers. Then you got the Cleveland Cavaliers at that 4th spot. Then the New York Knicks at the 5th spot. I don't think the Knicks can get up to that 4th seed. I believe they're locked into that 5th seed. They have some tough games coming up. We'll talk about that. But right behind them, you got the Brooklyn Nets in the 6th spot, the Miami Heat 7, Atlanta Hawks 8, and then the Raptors at the 9, and Chicago Bulls rounding out that last play-in spot. You're locked in at 5, and honestly, the Cavs are locked in at 4. What's really, interesting to me is that the Boston Celtics are just one game ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers, which could impact some second-round matchups. But let's focus back in on the Knicks. They're going to be locked into that 5 seed. Could they get up to the 4 seed? It's possible. They have a pretty easy schedule as they have just 9 games left in this season. Incredible to think that we've already played 73 games this year. You got the Heat coming up tomorrow, then the Magic on Thursday, then you got the Houston Rockets, then the Heat, then the Cavs, Wizards, Pacers, Pelicans, Pacers. Look, you should beat the Heat. You should beat the Magic. You should beat the Rockets. Maybe you split with the Heat there, and you should beat the Cavs. Maybe you lose there, but you should beat the Wizards and the Pacers and the Pelicans and the Pacers. You should go really 6-3 over these last 9 games at a minimum, which would get you at 48 wins for this season. So I want to ask you guys, because there was a lot of talk about this during the season. We always ask the question. Vegas had the Knicks prior to the season at 37.5 wins. And we always asked, over or under? And always 50% said over, 50% said under. Well, you're wrong if you said under, because they're already at 42. So I want to ask you this question. With 9 games left, how many wins will the Knicks finish with? They're 42-31 right now. Let's say they go 6-3 the rest of the way. That puts them at 48-34. 48-34. Crazy. Math is hard. Let me know what you think. Is it right? No, right? If you said 9 games, you get 6 wins, 3 losses. That's 48-34. Coop, you're just wrong. I'm right, and that's why you're a Mavs fan, and we're going to thank you for the pick that you gave us. We appreciate it. Predicted how many wins will the Knicks finish with? It was 100% right. I'm not good at math. I'm not saying that. What I am good at is repping some Knicks orange and blue, and you should do the same. Get your Knicks Now Real Ones Chat Sports tee. Playoffs, they're right around the corner, and I need you guys repping the squad. Go to chatsports.com/realknicks. That's chatsports.com/realknicks. Get your tee today. And if you get your t-shirt, when it comes in the mail, take a picture, send it to me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and we'll put you on the show. Peter, we put him on the live stream last night, and that's why my man Peter Wynn is an MVP. Pretty heartbreaking loss last night for the Knicks. It's pretty rare that you get 57 points from a player in Julius Randle and you lose a game. I believe I saw a stat that teams this year that had players score 55-plus points in this season were 8-0. Well, this morning they're 8-1 because the New York Knicks lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves 140-134. And look, I know even I got a little bit upset that Julius Randle didn't grab that rebound. He's not the reason you lost. The reason you lost is plain and simple. You gave up 140 points to the freaking Minnesota Timberwolves. You're not going to win many ball games giving up 140 points and allowing a team to shoot 61% from the field and 58% from 3. What's wild is they didn't even shoot that well from the line, 75%. At one point during the game, they were shooting better, and it was in the second half, better from 3 than they were from the free throw line. They couldn't miss. Free throw boy from Baylor, what's his name? Dorian, whatever the hell your name is. I hate that guy. I freaking hate him. All right, let's go through some stats of the game last night. Look, Randle was on fire. Look, he was great. All-time performance, the second, or is it third? I think it's the third most points in Knicks history. Carmelo at the 1 spot. with 62 against the Charlotte Bobcats back in the day. Look, 57 points on 29 shots. That's rare territory for Julius Randle. He was in one of those modes where he could have thrown a beach ball into the ocean. That's how big the basket looked for him. Fortunately, when the game was on the line, he grabbed that rebound. I don't want to harp on it too much. He really carried you the whole way. He didn't lose the game. This is why you lost the game. 140 freaking points. I can't believe this. I'm still in shambles. Mitchell Robinson was really a non-factor for the Knicks last night. 0 points. He did have 9 rebounds. He had 2 turnovers. You need more out of Mitch. You need him to be better. You need him to show some pride on the defensive end. He should really be upset that you allowed the Minnesota Timberwolves to score 140 points. Really, it's just unacceptable. Jalen Brunson's stats look great, right? 23 points, 10 assists. I didn't realize he had 10 assists, but I felt like he was a little sloppy with the basketball. I know only 2 turnovers. It's a great assist-to-turnover ratio. He was efficient as well. I thought he was kind of lacking on the defensive end, and it's hard for him. He's a 6-foot guard. He's got short, tiny arms, but I felt like he was a step slow on the closeouts. I felt like he didn't really ever take control of the game for the Knicks in the fourth quarter. They didn't really score that many points in the final 5 minutes of this game, and that's why they came out on the losing end. Nothing to sweat about in this game. Knicks are still a good team, still going to make the playoffs, still going to beat the fraudulent Cleveland Cavaliers. But you need guys like Emmanuel Quickley to play better. 19 points, 3 assists. You're like, wow, he had a great game. But then you look at the field goal percentage, 6 of 16. You need him to be more effective than 37.5% from the field. Josh Hart does what Josh Hart does. I don't think he's had a bad game with the New York Knicks yet. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 71% from the field. I don't have a bad thing to say about Josh Hart. Obi Toppin didn't get too many minutes for the Knicks last night, but look, he was effective in those minutes. We know he's not going to get the burn that he probably deserves, but he's got to earn it. And maybe, next year is the year that Obi gets a lot of minutes. I think it's going to be hard for him to ever find the role he wants on this team, playing right behind Julius Randle, and neither of them really having positional versatility. I thought R.J. Barrett had a huge game in the first half. He really got going downhill. He put pressure on the cup. He was really efficient as well, 4 of 8, 50%. I feel like he's been really good around the basket since that All-Star break, but he just kind of got phased out of the game. The ball just ended up in Randall's hands. Of course it should have, 57 points, but this is what upsets me with RJ. 4 turnovers. Got to be more strong with the basketball, more decisive with your decisions, and really just take better care of the pill, because that's why you're going to lose games to the Timberwolves, because you had, I think, 16 turnovers. Just not okay. Quentin Grimes, he was out there for cardio for most of the game. 3 points, 1 of 1 from the field, knocked down that three-pointer. I wish he'd get more looks, but his looks are dependent on people creating open shots for him at this current state. I believe he's got a bag to where he can get buckets. It's just not really a part of the game plan right now, and he's not really being asked to do that. Look, yes, I'm upset about the game last night. Saw some encouraging things. Like, look, we've known this Knicks team is never going to quit. They're never going to say die. They're going to battle to the end. That is a reflection of their head coach. But also, 140 points is not a reflection of Tom Thibodeau. Let's see how they bounce back tomorrow against their arch rivals, the Miami Heat. I'm looking forward to that one. Frank, I better see you there. If you made it this far in the video, we appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up icon, and let's get a real one roll call down in the comment section. Haven't done that in a while. I want to see who's been watching.